this episode of Go Fish Australia, we're going to see what happens to the fish that are not thrown back into the water, but thrown into a frying pan instead. Fish have been a major part of man's diet for millions of years, and he's become quite good at inventing marvellous ways to turn a simple fish dish into a feast fit for a king.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get the one that got away. I'm gonna get it. I know I'll get it. This time I won't let it get away. It was this big.
How big?
This big.
That
Well, big enough to make me want to say, I'm gonna get it. You can bet it. If it takes until my dying day. I hate it, I'll bait it, I'll hook it, I'll cook it, I'll damn you fish, I'm gonna nail ya. No fish is gonna put me a failure. I'm gonna go fish Australia for the one that got away. No fish is gonna prove me a failure. I'm gonna go fish Australia for the one that got away.
Now, you weren't lying to me about fishing Newcombe then, were you?
No, of course not. No, it's just was the sort of a day, and I think maybe we just started a bit too early after lunch.
Right. So tomorrow, you reckon the morning is the way to go?
Yeah.
We will definitely get fish in the
We
morning.
definitely get to improve that, I think.
Have a look at this here, guys. I've just got
Hey,
that
digger.
one. Oh, yeah. What do you reckon?
Blooming hell.
Huh?
That's a big brownie.
And we'll have some of our own tomorrow night.
Yeah, give one back to Digger.
That's no use for that.
Fresh fish sizzling over an open fire. Nothing like it. And the beauty of fish is that you can cook it any way that you want. You can hot plate it, char grill it, curry it, bake it, casserole it, crock pot it, and even poach it. Before you can do any of that, there are a couple of minor problems. First, you have to catch it. Then, you have to clean it.
Look at him. You lie him on his back, and you just cut his head and his forecarriage right off, down the belly to the tail. And I done one of these not long ago. A bloke at a guard me, he reckoned I said I could do one a minute, and he flew for me. He said, no way in the world could you do one a minute. So in fact, under supervision, I think we had a couple of coppers and a couple of rangers standing by. I did one in 45 seconds. Mightn't be quite that quick today, though, but anyway, I'm not going to, I suppose.
Yeah, look at the size of the little fish in this blood.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? He's obviously
Nearly
well,
as big as the fish itself.
you've been feeding on him, eh?
Yeah.
When you've finished taking both sides off, you pull the annel fin off, lay him on your side, cut off both rib cages, and the fish is now without bone except the backbone, and that comes out in one piece and you can feed it to a baby. Most people will say, oh, you know, trouts are excellent eating fish, but in fact they're not, compared to redfin. Redfin are white, clean flesh and very sweet, kind of be just a little touch dry, not as dry as a trout though.
A large pot, some white wine, some silver tinsel. He'll poach up tonight and just be a beautiful poached trout, which the best fish restaurant could never equal.
Golden snapper, we call them up here in the north. Beautiful eating fish. Good eating size. So we'll have him on the barbecue, I hope.
Yeah, we'll freeze them in packs of about 6 fillets. So it's only
If there is ever a wrong way to fillet a sweet, this is it. No wonder his mates call him Stumpy. Still, the seagulls don't mind the odd finger with the scraps.
Don't you like working with stumps?
Now, that is better. The knife going away from you.
Apart from the well-known 5 or 6 table fish, we don't really know that much about our local fish.
Leather jackets are just about accident-proof. Head off
give it to the gulls, then remove the skin, and they're ready for the pan. Delicious.
One up there now, one down there now to Lee. One to Lee up there now. Coming down
Unlike
down
us,
the section, one to
not
Gold,
everyone
$9.
can go out and catch their dinner, so the only alternative is to buy it. Now, here at the Sydney Fish Markets, which incidentally is second in the world in size only to Tokyo, the buyers and sellers gather long before dawn to bid at the daily auctions of the catch. Naturally, quality is of the utmost importance, particularly if you own a fish shop in Sydney's exclusive Double Bay.
Being in Double Bay, it's vital that we get the best quality fish that is available. The whole idea is to maintain a level of quality all the time and not veer from it, not move away from it, because no matter what you put in that window, if it's not of prime quality, they will just walk away from it.
For 14.4. Cookbooks are up there now. They've got $26 in front. 26.10 up there, 20, 30, 40, 26.40 up there, 50, 60, 70, 80 up there, 26.90, 27.10. 27.10, 20, 30, 40 up there, 50, 60, 70 down there.
To sample one of the best eating fish in the world, we visited Perth's Parmelia Hilton Hotel, which is famous for its local dew fish. That's D-H-U, fish. I am standing here in the kitchen of my favourite hotel, which is the Hilton, and we're watching Anton cut up all that delicious stuff down there. Mark, tell me, what sort of fish have we got here that we wouldn't get, say, in the eastern states?
The fish that Anton is actually cutting up is dewfish, which is fairly indigenous to Western Australia, and it's a very famous fish. It has, perhaps what's particularly special about dewfish is its very fine, silky texture. It's a fish which seems to have very short fibres to it, and it has this wonderful texture which sort of just falls apart.
We do it pan fried. We serve it today with a fresh herb sauce, with a tarragon sauce, and then we'll garnish it out with tomato roses and some chili and vegetables.
Anton, that looks absolutely
Doesn't it look stunning?
fantastic. If I can pick it up. Oh.
Yum. Wonderful.
Oh, you've got it there. That's fabulous.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
See what I mean by the texture of it? Isn't it beautiful?
I do.
Very fine flavour.
I'm not a big fish eater, but I enjoy fish. I do kill very little fish. Most of my fish are released.
Well, this guy here only likes to eat a piece of flathead, and then only occasionally, and then it's got to be the right size flathead. So when we eat fish, it's usually a nice piece of filleted flathead, deep fried in beer batter.
I grill mine. I don't like too much oil. And skin and bone, there's no bones in them when you finish.
You don't take him home and eat him after
No, you can't eat them.
What, too many bones?
All bones, yeah.
Whee! It's a mackerel!
He's cute. Well, you hang on to him for dinner?
I reckon so. Have him for dinner. Cook a nice sauce for it, or cook it the Filipino way.
How's that?
Lovely. It's beautiful. How do I cook in the Filipino way? Usually we put a bit of vinegar, a bit of garlic, a bit of onion and a bit of soy sauce, and then put it in the pot and just gently simmer it. Lovely with rice and vegetable.
I'd rather catch them than eat them, though.
Well, what's your favourite eating fish?
Gummy shark and probably whiting.
But if you skin a blackfish and bone him out so there's no bones, crumb him in egg and breadcrumbs, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, but otherwise you wouldn't eat them. I wouldn't anyhow. Tastes too much like fish.
Fish are not only good to eat, but they are good for you, because they're full of iron, they're full of protein, very low in cholesterol, and they rate 1 on the Richter scale of calorie control.
Did I tell you the story about the Norwegian guy that did all the research into heart disease?
No.
Well, he reckons he's an 80-year-old man who'd been researching fish and diet for about 40 years. And he came up with conclusive proof that 3 good fish meals a week can actually prevent heart disease. And
I could eat fish every day.
yeah, apparently if you cook them and keep the natural oil within the, in the cooking process, and then it really works. So we'll find out.
We will. We might live another 40 years.
And you reckon one good fish gives you an extra year on your life, right?
Oh, yes.
Australia's fish-eating habits have changed dramatically over the past decade, I would say mainly due to the Asian and European influence in the cooking of fish that were once considered useless. One fish that doesn't need much cooking, in fact none at all, is the yellowfin tuna. Until only a few years ago, this fish was either canned or used for burley or bait until the Japanese showed us how to slice it paper thin, serve with a sauce and eat it raw as sashimi. Very fashionable, but not my cup of tea.
Well, it's probably good for our balance of payments that it's going overseas. The tuna that are used in cans now are usually the smaller tuna, whereas the bigger tuna are used for the export industry, and mostly going to Japan for sashimi.
Secret of raw fish is making sure to remove all the red meat before slicing.
Oh, yellowfin. We use them for snapper bait.
What do you think of raw fish, John? Sashimi. Have you tried much of that?
Not on a sandwich, no. I could only have that with tomato sauce.
A couple of years ago, I wouldn't have thought of it. But
Yeah.
having tried it, I've become quite a fan of it.
No, I've never tried it.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, you should.
No, every now and then there's a yellowfin come over the side and I think this is it.
Everything's great raw. Oh, squid.
Actually, the trouble about squid is you have to have it dead. Even the good old Aussie barbie has changed. Now it's fillets instead of chops and snags. No wonder. You wouldn't do that with a steak. Now, that's what I call adding a bit of flavour. But there is one way that will never be beaten. And now, the tintillating taste that you've all been waiting for, the curry.
The curry, and here we go. What we do is chop vegetables. Carrot, peas, corn, beans.
Yep.
Into melted butter, onions, plenty of them. Gives it plenty of flavour. Give it a bit of a stir. Poor fellow outside
Where comes the
there's
rest of the... How's your father? Does that get in there?
Give that a nice bit of a stir. And then the next thing, some banana. The banana helps take a bit of fire out of some of my things, unfortunately. Packet squibs around here
That's
today,
excellent. I hope
unfortunately.
you're watching all this.
And the
because
next
it's
lot
very
comes
important.
is the ingredients itself. These ingredients consist
I'll
of...
bet that's made of milk.
It has a milk base on it. The reason
How
for a
did you
milk
know?
base in my curries is that it doesn't burn so quickly.
Right, well, just pour it in
Instead
before
of-
that burns all off. and
instead
just
of-
get the other stuff in there. Because
Instead of the poor people cropping
people
in
there
1 second,
just
they get it
waiting
in
there.
30.
They've got all their things waiting to shove in the... Get the tucker in.
Now we can whack the fish in it as well.
Right,
That
now
one
what
poor
fish is
fellow.
in all that? Which
The fish in here today is mullet, tailor,
Was that the
and
fish of
moa.
the day, was it?
Fish of the day,
Fish of the
or
day
the
was
barramundi
perhaps?
of the day is this.
Right.
Into that, and then we'll just give it a bit of a stir around, and as you can see, the fish
Right.
happens to be getting some form of colour on it.
Look at the way they go for those onions. I like that. Immaculate.
It comes up.
Immaculate. Can I have a little smell of it, please?
Please do.
Lift it up there. Ah! C'est magnifique. That's French.
Even the poor old squid can't relax anymore. He's in great demand as calamari.
Just fry them in hot fat, hot oil or whatever. Cut them in rings. Just fry them in hot oil. A lot of people batter them and all that, egg crumb and that. I think I'm much one better, so I just cook them all like that.
Good eating?
Beautiful. Lovely.
The huge variety of seafoods available to us in Australia makes it very simple to knock up the most delectable dishes in a matter of moments.
We've got a beautiful range of seafood here, John, and I'm just going to make a very quick garlic seafood dish.
Yeah.
One pan, really fast, and you can use whatever seafood you happen to have.
Well, what seafoods are you going to use?
I'm going to use some beautiful fresh ling fillets.
Yeah.
That's a deep sea fish, very little bone. Some octopus, fresh scallops.
What's that thing about the octopus being bashed to death or getting their heads cut? What's all that about?
That's what we do here in Australia. In the Mediterranean.
I want to know about that.
In the Mediterranean
one.
countries, this one here,
Yep.
they tenderise the octopus by beating them on the rocks. But no Australians like to sit on rocks and bash octopus.
No.
So we put them in a cement mixer with
Yeah.
some salt.
In a cement mixer?
Yeah, the fish retailers do it.
Oh, I see.
And they beat it around for about an hour and it
Yeah.
tenderises it.
Oh, right. Now
So then
what-
when you eat it, you don't, it's
a
not
lot of
chewy.
Cement. But now, what else? No, quite seriously. Now, there's some crabs now. Which crab is that one?
That's a blue swimmer
that's a
crab.
blue swimmer.
That's already cooked, so it's not
Yeah,
blue.
Right.
But when you buy it, if you buy it in the raw state, it's got beautiful colouring.
Yeah, now these look as though they're probably from Western Australia, are
I
they?
think you're an
These
expert.
ones?
You're right.
Well, they've got a blue thing.
That's right.
at
They're
the
from
bottom of them. I think
WA.
they're from WA. And you've got all sorts of goodies down there. What have you got down there?
That's just all this seafood as well,
Yeah.
already prepared to go into the dish.
Well, whack them in and let's see.
Well, how about we start off? Do you like garlic?
Yes, I met her in Darwin.
Did you? Then we're going to add some shallot and parsley.
Yeah.
Just mix all that in. Using...
Actually, I've got third-degree burns now all over here. I want you to know
I'm
that.
sorry.
No,
That's
perfectly
terrible,
all right.
isn't it?
Perfectly all right. Just keep putting
Right.
it on. I'm not.
What
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna-
get out of
whenever you're doing one
Just go. Just put it in.
Do you want me
mate.
to? Don't you want me to tell you?
Yeah. What have you got in here?
I'm putting the octopus in. Now, when you're doing one-pan dishes like this, you always add the seafood that takes the longest to cook at the beginning.
Right.
Because you don't want to overcook things like mussel. That's calamari squid. Like calamari?
Yes.
Right, that's the actual body of the calamari. And we
Jeez, it's
slice
thin,
it.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Poor little
we've
thing.
cut it up. So we put that in. And as it cooks, you'll find the octopus goes a beautiful pink colour. Can you see that?
Isn't that lovely?
I'm going to add these WA prawns now.
Right.
Already peeled. We've left the tail on,
Yeah.
so you can pick them up and eat them with some bread and butter. What about the fish? We have to add that
Now,
next.
which one have we got here?
Ling. Now that's
That ling. Now, explain what ling is. I know what ling is, but you tell me what ling is.
Ling is a really...
Go on.
It's a very firm fish.
I know. Yes?
White flesh,
Yes.
and it's excellent flavour.
It has indeed. And you know what family it comes from?
The cod, I think.
It's the what?
Cod?
No, Ling dynasty. It comes from there. It's
Oh,
a
you're
very
such
old
an expert.
Chinese fish. It's luckily enough made its way all over to Australia.
Right. Isn't it starting to look beautiful?
Yes, it is.
If you don't like garlic, you can leave it out. A lot of people
I love
don't.
garlic. I love garlic. But once again, now, why do you not use lemon at all in your cooking? Or
Well,
do
I
you
would.
use
At the
lemon
end, I
after-
just
at
give
the
that
end,
a
you just put
squeeze
it over?
through. That's just a taste. That's totally up to you with what
Yeah.
lemon you use.
That is smelling absolutely delicious.
Heaven.
It really is. When do the
Well, I
the
think we
crabs
can
go
add
in?
these crabs now.
Yep.
These are the blue swimmers, as we mentioned before.
Yes.
But they've already been cooked, so all they need to do is be heated
Is that
through.
just simmered through?
Yeah,
or-
just to warm the flesh. And so we'll just put those in now.
Yeah.
And then we're going to put in the mussels. And when you're using the mussels in any dish, you always make sure the mussel is tightly closed. Because if it's open, it's already dead. So you don't know how long it's been dead for and you might get sick.
Now, how long
That'll
will the
do.
mussels take before they pop?
Well, I'd probably put the lid on that now, just for a few minutes to steam the mussels open, and that's all.
So they will all kind of come together at the same time, is that right?
Yep,
So
that'll be all timed. The way we've put it in, it'll be all cooked perfectly, and then you can have some bread and butter, a glass of wine, and maybe a little finger bowl so you can use your hands for eating. That's simple, isn't it?
I've never used my hands for eating the finger bowl.
Well, you should start now.
Baden,
Yes, Doug.
have you noticed the mussels on that pile down there? Listen, I'll tell you what, we'll get some of those for tomorrow and we'll see if we can turn those into some big whiting. You know how whiting like mussels for bait? Oh. That's it. Oh, yeah, some of those are real good. I'll just tip those onto the floor for a moment. I'll put them in a bin later. Yeah, that's a good...
They should be full ones.
Just try one. You got that mussel knife there? Yeah. I'm going to eat one of these.
Why not?
Oh, look at that. I'll just take that hairy bit out. Well, that looks lovely. That's better than the mussels they get out in the bay that are trawled. That's beautiful.
Well, they're exactly the same.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
And
Beautiful.
wait until you try it all smoked. Oh, boy.
The smoked mussels are ideal. That you just take them out of the shell.
Yeah.
And
Shall I try?
Please do.
Okay.
Take them out of the shell,
Yeah.
and they're just affixed by a small cartilage, and so they're a lovely one-off serve.
Just a moment. I had a cartilage operation once before. Delectable.
Beautiful, aren't they?
Can people smoke their own, say, trout or mullet or things like that? Can you do
They
that?
certainly can, but it's a long process and it can be expensive.
The cooker is simplicity itself. We put foil on the bottom, sawdust on that, then the fish over the top of that, which is already on a tray, and it can be salted or unsalted. Seal the lid up over the flame, and when the flame's died, it takes about 8 to 10 minutes, you've then got smoked fish.
Even the least likely seafoods are delicious smoked.
Mainly we do trout, that's the number one. I'd say next would be eel and tyler. We do also other lines like mackerel, keepers, mullet roe, which before never was known practically. Well, after a few years we were here. We sort of, we went and have a look and see what the other part of the world, how they used to carry out this type of industry. And with my surprise, I realized that we were doing exactly as they've done for all these hundreds of years. You know, they used to pass on the secret trade from father to son, practically. You know, and we couldn't find us any different than them.
Do you go out fishing for fun?
No, I tried, but I never do anything successful in fishing personally.
What about your family? I mean, children and all that. They like to fish, get out in the sunshine.
Yeah, they do love fishing, but not with me. Because I'm very, very unlucky fisherman, because I cannot ever catch a fish.
If you can't be bothered catching and cooking your own, you can let an expert do it for you. One of the things that always interests me, and I've been here many times, is the standard of your restaurant is because you always know the quality fish to get and the quality fish to buy.
Johnny, we've been a pretty lucky family. We've always been either at sea, and we've always had Mum or Auntie Flo to do the cooking when you come ashore. You know what I mean? And it's been terrific. So that let us indulge a bit and go fishing. But I think when you're out at sea and you've learnt what's happening out there, you've learnt about your fish, you bring it back into your business, you know. And I think fresh fish, fair dinkum, you know, there's fresh, whether it's a mullet or a flathead, it doesn't matter what it is. Not one of them fancy, or everyone's on a fancy fish now.
Yes, everybody goes to the John Dory.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's only because you put your prices
that's
up
right,
on that.
That's right.
Exactly.
And so what you're looking for is quality.
In the harbour at the moment, are we nearly fished out?
No, I don't think we're fished out, John. I think we can still go out. My son went out last night and he caught some tailor and he caught some brim and flathead. You know, and you have a look at this harbour today. Just have a look at it. There's how many people live around Sydney Harbour? What, 3.5 million, 4 million people?
I would say so, yeah.
And all we can see is moored boats, but no one with a line in their hand.
Yeah.
You know, everyone can enjoy fishing. I think it's fantastic.
Fishing is...
And the main thing is all we do is make sure that we protect what we've got.
And throw them back at 11.5 inches. Isn't that about that?
That's right.
That's the limit now, isn't it?
Educate people that we have a great fishery out there, and all we need is pure education on people to work together.
Yeah, right.
You know, because there's a lot of people that can't fish, and there's a lot of people that got to supply seafood.
I don't think
too.
that's that right. I think anybody can fish. It's just knowing how to fish.
Yeah, well, that's right too.
I think that's about it.
I think that's a pretty good
So I
idea.
tell you what, Pete, I'll have a great big drink to you.
Mate,
and,
didn't they died of thirst while I was waiting?
The end of the line. I'm gonna have it. Photograph it. This time I'll prove it was mine. I'm so sure, now she positive that she, sure enough, come rain or shine. Let me at it. I'm gonna have it. If it takes until the end of time, I'll dare you, outswear you, defeat you, then eat you. Damn you, fish, I'm gonna scale you. No.